Hello and welcome everyone again into another video. And today's video we are going to be talking about the top teams in the Open Great League. And as far as I know, this is the last Great League rotation in this season, the Hidden Gems season. Great League is the league that everyone plays, but doesn't necessarily mean that the league that everyone like. It's the league that is the most efficient to spend resources on, because anything you use, as long as it's a good Pokemon, will be something you will use forever. As always, let's talk about the top Pokemons. I divide them into good leads, safe swaps, closers, and a bunch of stuff that are good in the meta, great in the meta, but I didn't know what to do like with them, because I've seen them in the lead, I've seen them in the back, and sometimes they aren't they don't belong to any of these categories. So I'm like, do I make new categories? I'm like, no, let's not be that nerdy. So in the leads, one of the most common leads in this cup is Medicham. Why Medicham? It's probably the best Pokemon right now. It's arguably the best Pokemon. Some people would say it's Lantern, some people would say Carbank, some people would say it's Medicham, but arguably Medicham has the most superior fast move among all of these, and it's the Pokemon that gets the best coverage in the entire games. Counter, Psychic, Ice Punch, 3 different types, decent bulk, and oppressive fast move pressure with decent charge move pressure. So everything is amazing about this Pokemon. And speaking of amazing coverage, we have Deoxys Defense. Can do almost the same stuff, but we've seen it taking a setback from the meta because DD struggled to beat Lantern, while Medi has no problem against the Lantern. And Lantern was everywhere. I don't know about the last Great League rotation. I think people were using Swampert more than Lantern, because we had a new Pokemon that started rising up in the meta, which is the Shadow Quag and the Shadow Alolan Sandslash. Those two Pokemons are becoming everywhere. Shadow Quag get a decent buff to the Mud Bomb, plus its Shadow, so 2 Mud Bombs plus the Mud Shot are able to KO anything that doesn't fly or anything that's not grass, basically. Another Pokemon here that has always been meta, basically, the Pelipper, which makes one of the most hated teams, Pelipper Double Steel. Poliwrath, get a decent buff with the counter. It's actually more than just a decent buff. We haven't seen it in the Ultra League meta. That's not because it's bad. That's because the current meta just hard countered the Poliwrath to the point where you cannot use it. And I think I recorded some bad battles using Poliwrath. They should be up before this video is live. So Poliwrath, the Shadow one in the Great League, you can flip the Lantern matchup if you bait, basically. Most people won't be shielding, but basically you can just run Power Up Punch and just punch through the Lantern and punch through most of the stuff that, again, do not fly. The Shadow Poliwrath also has a decent matchup against the Altaria. I think in the 1 and the 2 it's not that good of a matchup, and the 0 Altaria is supposed to win, just like it's any Shadow. Like, the Shadow status usually like make the Pokemon either better in the 1 shield or in the 2 shield. Toxapex is supposed to be good, but because Lantern is everywhere, A-Slash now is everywhere, Registeel is everywhere, it's not as oppressive as people thought when it first came out. Brian just makes you want to quit the game after you land the Brian, and it does no damage. Venusaur has always been either meta or an anti-meta, so it's like good if you see people are using Noctowl. No, not Noctowl for sure. It's good if you see lots of people using Medi-Lantern, if it's not as good if those two disappear from the meta. So Venusaur, the status good, situationally good, as long as those two part of the meta. Safe swaps. Umbreon, never been a bad swap. The problem with Umbreon in the current meta is that people just prefer to use Noctowl, because Noctowls just has been the go-to pick for most of the people, even though I would rather run Umbreon, but I don't know. I feel like I played enough Umbreon to the point where I would rather just run Noctowl, because yes, it's been everywhere, but it's just been 3 seasons, while like with Umbreon, it's been there since forever. Sableye. I don't think I need to talk about Sableye. because I've talked about this Pokemon a million times. But to be honest, Sableye now in the current meta is not as good of a Pokemon, just because I don't know what's the term here, chat. Powercraft? Is Powercraft the term here? But like, other Pokemons are just becoming slightly better. Stuff like Sandslash can do stuff in the current meta, like can do better stuff. Lantern can do better stuff. Medi can do better stuff against this. So whatever you're using Sableye for, you can find another meta Pokemon that can do it better. Outclassed? Yes, outclassed. Outclassed is the term I'm looking for here. Dewgong get a massive buff. Dewgong was an off-meta pick, but now it's get a massive buff. Now it has a drill down to the point where like you can beat steel Pokemons with Dewgong. You can beat electric Pokemons with Dewgong. Like if Lantern has Water Gun, Dewgong just bully it. Lickitung actually is becoming better in the current meta because it's becoming like a solid, soft answer to most of the stuff that people are using. Like it's not bad against Medi, it's good against Noctowl. No, it's horrible against Noctowl. I meant Lantern. It's not bad against the what's that thing? Dewgong, and those like mainly are the main meta, to be honest. Diggersby. Now moving to the Closets are Pokemon that have nuke potential. They have like a massive nuke charge move. Like with Diggersby, you have Hyper Beam, you have Earthquake. With Registeel, you have Zap Cannon, Focus Blast. With Carbink, you have Moonblast, I think. With the Swampert, you have EQ. With G-Fisk, you have EQ. With Bastiodon, you just tap them down. With Azu, you can have Hydro Pump. And to be honest, I like the last Great League rotation, I saw lots of Azus because of the rise to people using A-Slash with Medi and Noctowl, and Azu tend to beat A-Slash, beat Medi, doesn't lose heart to the Noctowl, even though Noctowl just beat it. Like, but Noctowl needs the shields, Azu doesn't need shields. So much thickness, I miss Glass Cannon meta. I mean, here's the thing. The problem with the meta is that to make something meta, you have to make it in a better than the current meta, and the current meta is too bulky. So if you want to make a Pokemon that's even better, it has to have like either crazy good stats or the crazy good coverage, such as Trevenant before the nerf to Trevenant. So Carbink became meta just because it has crazy good bulk, crazy high bulk. Like Shadow Quag has a decent spot in the current meta. A-Slash, those two aren't bulky, but they have a decent play against the meta, but they are situational and like they tend to be like RPS Pokemons. With the Quag, it's not as RPS because you have Stone Edge for the Flyers. So those are like the main meta Pokemons I could think of. But if we go to PvPoke, the best Pokemon in PvPoke in the Open Great League is Carbink, second is Reggie, third Pokemon is Stunfisk, the Galarian, Swampert, Shadow Swampert, Pelipper, Medi, Shadow Poliwrath, Scrafty taking number 9, leaving the top 3 since Scrafty came out. Lickitung moving up to the top 10. I think Lickitung was like in the 17. Quagsire Shadow is 13. Double is there, but to be honest, there is like better fighting Pokemons than Double. Why did I say fighting? Because it has a fighting fast move. For people who start correcting me in the comments. Whiscash is a bad version of Quag. Shadow Quag is actually decent. I'm saying it again, it's decent. Okay, if you have a Shadow Quag, use it. The problem with my Quag, the best Quag I have goes to 1486 CP, which is ugly to look at, to be honest. Some anti-meta Pokemons here. I'm not going to talk about any of them. Shadow Grumble can just do some charm stuff. Frostlass, I've seen it, I think, the most among this category here. Gliscor, there is only one player that uses Gliscor, and his name is the Pokemon Go. He actually hit number 1 in the Go Battle League leaderboard with Gliscor in the Open Great League. Make sure to check his live stream at twitch.tv/thepokemon, A instead of the O, then Go, the Pokemon Go, or you can call him Mango. Trevenant, slightly off meta. Dunsparce get a buff to the rollout, but it's still not good enough. So how can we make it good enough? I have no idea yet. Obama Snow has some niche picks. Some people are still using it, but not everyone does. Jumpluff has a spot. Nobody use it though, because whatever you want to use this thing for, there is always something better. So we talked about the Pokemons, we talked about the anti-meta Pokemons. What about the teams? Okay, so let's talk about the top teams. So if you go to PvPoke and you choose Carbink and you want to build a team around Carbink, PvPoke will suggest Registeel. And if you build this core, if you use this core, PvPoke will suggest Medicham as a third. So is this the best team? No, on paper this is the best team. If people are using the 600 Pokemons that are allowed to be used in the Open Great League, this team will have the best coverage in the entire list. But that doesn't mean it's good. Okay, what about the top 3 PvPoke team? The problem with the top 3 PvPoke team is that it doesn't have coverage against Medi. So in this time, we have to make an exception and we make a top 4 PvPoke team because we cannot be weak to Medi because Medi is everywhere. So we use a Swampert, Carbink, Registeel. What if they have Medi? Well, you still lose. So that's why this team doesn't make sense. So what do you use then? Yeah, you use Pelipper. Yeah, problem solved. Just use Pelipper. The problem with this team is Lantern. I don't know why I have Medi. It's actually Lantern. Lantern is a massive code breaker to this one, especially if Lantern has Water Gun. But is it good? I don't think so. These are like some meme teams. It's not. These teams are supposed to be theoretically good if people are using the tops, all the Pokemons that exist in the current meta. But there is two different terms. There is meta. There is condensed meta. Condensed meta is that what people are actually using. And the best team against the condensed meta on PvPoke is actually this one. And when I looked it up, trying to build a team, Noctowl with Registeel and Shadow Quagsire. So if they have a Lantern lead, you just go Registeel. And again, I've said it a million times before, I'm gonna say it again. For Registeel, you need a solid traded Registeel IV because there is a mudshot breakpoint. So you need to make sure that you have the mudshot breakpoint for your Registeel to be good. The better your Registeel is, like if you have a top 10 Registeel, your Registeel can get to 2 moves against Medicham, which is huge. Like it's big. Guys throwing people out window for suggesting Spice is on... No, I don't suggest Spice. I just suggest meta teams based on how meta, and then like we go, like the more we go, the spicier the teams get. But what team do I use? I mean, I generally use this team. It's like my favorite Open Great League one. It's G-Fisk, Sableye with Pelipper in the back. There is a video about this team because this team became the top rated team once on PvPoke. The top rated team on PvPoke, my team, PvPoke, Pokemon Go PvP. There is a video about this. You can just go and check it on the channel. This team is low-key and ABB that's weak to Lantern. If they have Water Gun Lantern, I think
have many friends.
They might be screwed. But most people just run Spot.
Just followed.
And Sableye is your key to chip the Lantern. The team is not as oppressive as it used to be. So what do we use then? Well, you can change the third. I always say, whenever you like watch these videos to make a team you want to use, copy the first two, and the third is subjective to change based on whatever you see in the meta. So don't be like, oh yes, I used the team and the team was completely useless. Exactly, because you have to change the third. The third is up to you. The third is based on your playstyle. I have a solid team here that I recently uploaded a video hitting number 7 in the Pokemon Go leaderboard with this team. Feat Healthy Clash. Healthy Clash hit number 7 on the leaderboard using this team. So I didn't make a video about me playing the team. I actually made a video about him and playing this team at high MMR. So you can learn from the best who played this team, which is Healthy Clash. One of the best Great League players in the entire world. He's one of very, very few players that still enjoy Great League for some reason. The team is weak to Lantern in the back, so you have to use Noctowl to bait out the Lantern. Okay, if you don't bait out the Lantern, you're screwed. Usually, you save 2 shields for the Charizard, and the Charizard will just fast move down doesn't fast move down. Just nuke everything down. Anti-Carbink meta. So with Carbink, it's either in the lead or in the back. So you need something in the lead that can beat it. You need something in the back that can also deal with it, and you need something that can deal with what covers the Carbink. So that's why the Noctowl is there. It's a resident sleeper team. We've seen this team is like for 4 seasons in a row so far. I don't enjoy it. I don't like it. But sometimes you have to... Sometimes you just don't have to like something to do it, you know? It's just like... Okay, I'm not gonna say that because some people might be offended. Shut up, Memi. So, wicked team, no skills, just tap tap, okay? But the answer to this team lose to Registeel. Well, there is a video in this channel about this team. Joan punished the 3300 MMR battlers with this toxic team, and he beat so many Registeels. The only thing that destroys you is actually not Registeel, but it's Bastidon. Another team that has always been good, never been bad. Okay, the FP Stick, this team from Season 4, it's still a solid team. And the Venusaur is just for those who safe swap Lantern. Time to bring out Nido. I think Nido has a niche play in the current meta. It's not bad. I don't think it's a bad Pokemon. A Chestnut team. This team, I don't know who made it, but all I know that if you want to watch someone who played the best, I think Wholesome is the one who played this team the best among all the streamers I know that tried it. Well, the second streamer that tried it is Crimson, so it must be Wholesome. Well, he's a phenomenal player. You can just copy whatever he does or how he plays the team. Chestnut team is Lil Jeff. Oh, it's actually... Yo, you're actually correct. You're actually correct. Yeah, it's Lil Jeff's. Okay. Yeah, Lil Jeff is a phenomenal player, and I think he was... He was like number 4 in one of the regionals. He almost qualified toward. So yeah. This team is basically... what was the... I remember with this team... Okay. You have to bait out the Lantern. It used to be like this. So you bait out the Lantern with the lady here. What's the name of this Pokemon? Frostlass. And then Charizard is just free in the back. Who's Lil Jeff? He's a Pokemon Go player, and he was playing in the last regional. I think he was top 4 or top 3. He was like one spot short into making it towards. DD Double Ice is one of the most Pepega teams that you could try. It's a basic ABB team, so you can do it like this or this. So the third could be Umbreon, and you see like every season I make a team about DD Umbreon with the third. I hate DD Double Ice. Nobody like it. Every season I make about DD Umbreon with the third. I think the best third with this right now is Dugong. So it's either up to you. If you don't like Umbreon, you can try A/Slash instead. Now, ABA number 1 team. Jason, 123, hit number 1 in the Go Battle League using this team. Jason is an ABA Andy. He's one of the first people to popularize ABA playstyle with like... Whatever they do, you just sack your lead, okay? You play your lead, whether it's a good or bad lead, and eventually, before like, once your lead becomes like 20%, 30% health, you catch on one of those. Generally, you don't catch on Bass, you catch on Medi, and bait out whatever they have. Then, if they swap in Noctowl, they swap something that Basti can beat, you just easy win that game. I already talked about this team, and last but not least, okay, this is the last team I want to talk about. This team has never been bad. Like, Walwar made this team like in season 2 or something. It was Toxcroc, and then the Toxcroc was replaced by Vigoroth, or like Goon, and then now you replace the Vigoroth with the Double, and you have a solid team. Triple counter, never been bad. Double doesn't have counter, but it can replace one of the fighters. I miss Walwar too. And yeah, thank you so much everyone for watching. This is the end of the video. If you like it, leave a like, leave the channel, make sure to subscribe, and see you in the next one.